Have you ever noticed how those New Year's resolutions start to feel like last year's leftovers by March? What I mean is this: many of us go through the new year, New Year's Eve, and come up with very big aspirations and goals and resolutions. And like me, typically by March, then the wind gets out of the sail. Basically, it's like everything begins to fizzle down. It's like life catches up, and then for some strange reason, the dream or the goal gets set aside. I've been there, and I know you probably have been there, likewise. But the key is that I recently uncovered why successful people, particularly I'll use two people as an example, successful people like Alex Hormozi and Myron Golden, who I follow very closely, like mentors to me. They never seem to have this kind of challenge or this kind of problem. And I noticed that their secret completely changed my perspective with regards to setting goals, particularly at the beginning of the year. And I would say setting goals, period, whether it's at the beginning of the year or not, setting goals. And after you hear what I'm about to share, you will never look at goal setting the same way again. You will never. All right. Before I jump in, I would want you to do one thing for me. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, do well to subscribe. Do the needful, do the awesome thing to subscribe, so that serves as an encouragement and a booster, so that I and the team will end up churning out great content like this on a consistent basis. We believe in positivity. So every time you watch content coming out from me, you are going to pick something that will energize you. That will give you some boost to do something that you wouldn't want to do, right? To give that kind of positivity there, to do something actionable. All right, with that said, let's jump right back into it. So if you are, if you are a faith-driven person like I am, and I say that unashamedly, unapologetically at all, that's who I am. I've been like that for decades. So if you're not, it's okay. It's okay. But if you are, maybe you may be able to understand what I'm about to say very well. So at the end of every year, you begin to prep your mind. You begin to psych your mind. And even some of us will go to church on New Year's Eve or 31st night. And even at that, sometimes our church would come up with a theme for the year, right? The theme for the new year. And that is to set the agenda, to set the expectation as to how things will go over the coming year. It's normal and it's unique. It's a noble thing. What I realized that sometimes that alone, or most of the time for me, that alone is not enough. Because I noticed that, yes, we could say, oh, this is the year of breakthrough, or the year of favor, or the year of this. But I noticed that sometimes, I get about doing my own thing, thinking that, because the pastor said this, it's just going to automatically find its way, dance itself into my lap, that this is my year of breakthrough, or this is my year of whatever it is, favor, whatever it is. So the favor will just find itself and dance its way into my arms, very nicely and calmly, like a goalkeeper picks up a football. It never had worked like that in my life. Anytime my mindset is like that, guaranteed, the year will end and whatever was proclaimed at the beginning of the year will not show up. And maybe the greatest thing is, yes, good health, sound mind, protection. Yes, those things work. But when it comes to like career, business, and those kind of things, those kind of proclamations do not work on their own. This is me. It may be different for you. So I began to ask myself questions. And also, even setting up like New Year's resolution, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that. All that I'm going to do doesn't really pan itself out on their own. So when I got to know about the secret of these like successful people, and somebody like Myon. Myon is a man of faith. I mean, I consider myself as a man of faith, but I think Myon is on a different level, right? He's a man. He used to be a pastor, so when I'm picking things from people, it kind of sets the tone as to the type of people I follow for certain things. And Myon has been a phenomenal mentor, a distant mentor for me personally. So when I got to know about his framework for goal setting, it blew me away. So his framework is very simple, very, very simple. Is this? Yes, set big, ambitious goals. So if it's weight loss, you want to lose weight, or you want to do something about your health, set those big, lofty goals. If it's, let's say, you want to start a business or you want to scale your business, set those kind of, I would say, ambitious but trackable goals. I don't want to, this thing goes beyond the theoretical aspect of goal setting. I don't want to go into that, but I just want to make it so practical, so like everyday life. So set those ambitious, measurable goals, okay? And that are also time bound. So set those. It's normal. Put it anywhere. So in my case, my goal for 2025 is to create a very vibrant online community, where African professionals and business owners in the diaspora can connect with African professionals and business owners on the continent, so that they can collaborate, share ideas, share best practices to solve some of the biggest challenges faced on the continent of Africa. And I want to create this force, this movement of a membership of 10,000 by the end of the year, by the end of December 2025. That's my goal. It sounds big, it sounds lofty, it sounds ambitious. That's my goal. But according to Myon and according to Alex as well, I shouldn't really focus on those kind of goals, those kind of lofty goals. The tactic, and basically what I'm going to share is more tactics. The tactic is to look at the kind of goal that I've set, that big overarching goal that I'm going to paste on my refrigerator, on my wardrobe, as my screensaver, and what have you. The tactic is to look at somebody, or ideally a couple of people who have achieved those kind of goals successfully. Look at them, look at their blueprint. What did they do that guaranteed them the success? What did they do? What practical everyday steps did they take to reach those goals? Practical everyday steps. These are, I would say, practical everyday actionable steps that they took that is like guaranteed their success in that area, right? So let's say if you found somebody who lost weight, significantly, you're gonna find out. Maybe you may even have to ask them, what did you do? Forget about the weight loss. Ask about, what did you do to get there? And if you get that information, that now becomes your goal. The reason is, as Myon put it, and I'm going to paraphrase it. The goal is the process of getting to the big goal. Let me unpack it more. So it's like you want to travel to maybe, let me just give an example. An example is, let's say you want to go to New York City, right? Let me use a city that I know quite well. So you want to go to Dallas, Texas. Okay, Dallas, Texas. I know very well. I'm a Cowboy fan. So Dallas, Texas. You are currently in, let's say, a place like, let's say, New York. You want to go to Dallas, Texas. Fine. That's the goal. You want to go there, maybe you're going for a wedding or family, whatever it is that you want to go. The goal is not even about the destination. The goal is what route or route, as the Europeans would say, will take you to Dallas, Texas. You can fly, you can drive. So in this case, let's say we are going to drive. Okay. So when you say you're going to drive, this is a distance that probably will take like more than 20 hours drive. Okay. So you pick your map, or in this case, your GPS, and it gives you the roadmap as to which many interchanges you are going to be using all the way to Dallas, Texas. And it's going to take, let's say, 24 hours drive. Okay. Then you know that those who go to Dallas, you can't drive 24 hours straight. So you have to plan your stops. Maybe from New York, you probably may stop somewhere. Maybe you drive all the way to, I don't know, maybe to Georgia. And then from Georgia to maybe Alabama, Louisiana, and then the rest you're making. So you plan your stops, right? And you know that is how typically people get to that destination. Because this is the common route that people use when they go on drive from New York to Dallas, Texas. Okay. So once you know that and you've gotten your car, maybe you've gone for a rental vehicle, you wouldn't use your own vehicle for that kind of big, long distance to put too much mileage on your own car. So you rent a vehicle to go there. That's what we used to do, right? So because you know the path, the problem is not the destination really. The problem is, can you stick to the path? Even if you drive at just 40 miles an hour, yes, you may not be there in 24 hours. You may be there in 40 hours, but you will definitely be there. So that's what I'm saying. So if you know the destination, the key is the path. Then the path now becomes the goal. That, okay, I'm going to be driving 5 hours every day, but I'm going to stick to the plan. I'm not going to deviate from the plan. The plan is to get to Dallas, Texas. And this is the blueprint. This is the roadmap I'm going to. So in my case, to build that kind of community, I have gone back and studied those who've done this very well, very, very well, and have succeeded in building massive online communities. Some of them like 200,000 members. So in looking at them, I noticed one thing. To build that kind of community is all about content. Creating valuable content for the right type of audience I'm looking to onboard into my community. Content that will resonate with them, content that will spark value to them. So the goal now is, I'm not bothered about the big lofty goal. I'm more bothered about, my goal now is to create a weekly schedule of content that will speak to those people that I'm looking for. Something valuable. And never break it. Just like being on that journey. Never break. Stick to it at least a minimum 1 week. Come up with quality content that will speak to them. And then I distribute it on the platforms that they are. So they are on YouTube. They are on LinkedIn. So my goal is, if I stick to producing one great, spectacular, quality, informative, engaging, needful content every week. If I can do twice a week, that will even be an icing on the cake. It will mean that I'll get there faster. It's just like being on that road and maybe driving at 70 miles an hour. So instead of driving at 40 miles an hour, I'm driving at 70 miles an hour per hour. That means that instead of arriving in Dallas at 24 hours, I probably will arrive there at 18 hours. But it doesn't even matter. What matters is that, am I doing the right thing to get there? So that now becomes my goal. And because those steps are guaranteed, they are like 100% surety that if you consistently do that, it will take you to the goal. It's like, if you consistently eat well, if you consistently work out, it doesn't have to be a 1 hour workout or 2 hours workout. It could possibly be just 15 minutes. It's just about knowing the right workout and consistently doing it. So now the focus is not on the overarching goal. The focus is the actionable steps that I have identified that I know works because other people, it has worked well for other people. And then I begin to follow and execute to the letter, unfailing, whether come rain, come fire, come water, come whatever it is. That ability to be consistent at taking those actionable steps now in 2025 is my goal. I don't care about big, lofty ambition. I just know that if I do that on a consistent basis, the destination, it is certain I will be there. Okay. With that said, I'm going to classify goals or what we desire. There are practical steps that we can do to actually get to the goal, which is what I just described. There are also things that are outside of our control, things that could derail our path towards. For instance, you're going to Dallas and then you have all the plan and everything, and then you're going and they say, oh, there's tornado coming. You have to stop your ambition. You have to go maybe detour to a different town and go hide there for maybe a couple of days or whatever it is for that tornado, that phase to fizzle out, and then you can continue on your journey. Sometimes it could be that even after the tornado, you may not be able to get back on the journey because there may be so many trees that have been broken. The road may have been broken. Maybe a bridge may have collapsed. All those things, those are unforeseen circumstances. They are outside your control. So what I just described are things that you can do that are in your control. So the things that you can do that are in your control are the daily actionable steps that you can take to get to your destination. Then the ones that are outside of your control, as the word says, they are outside of your control. But like Myon, it's the same with me. There are two keys that I'm about to share. I didn't necessarily learn them from the two, probably not from Alex, but from yes, Myon, of course. But also it's things that I've practiced over the years. There are two things that I also do in the course of the year that kind of controls the uncontrollable, things that I don't have control over, right? So there are two things that I'm about to share. One is generally, I practice to be kind to people. I don't even know how useful or how needful, how important is the word, how important that is. Be kind to people, particularly those who do not have any means of paying you back when you are kind to them. Those who cannot even those who cannot even help you in any way. Be a human being. Doing those things has a very unique way of coming back to you when you need it. Because when you do things for people who do not have the means to pay you back, and you do that consistently, yes, there are people who take advantage of you here and there. That is a given. Even Jesus was betrayed by one. Out of the 12 disciples, one became a bad nut. It doesn't matter. So I always operate on the principle of 12 to 1. If I do great things to 12 people, definitely one of them will not appreciate it. It may be more, but I care less. I care more about what I'm doing. And for me, what I've seen work for me is if you are consistently a human being to other human beings, it ends up paying itself in ways and means that you can never fathom. You can never even wrap your mind around. And yes, do good to all men. But I think for me, the lesson is to be a human being. Be a human being. Be a human being to everybody, but particularly those who do not have the means to repay you back. When you touch those people's lives, they know they don't have anything to give back to you. The thing that they can only do is they go into their secret closet and just blurt out, make a proclamation that is genuine out of their hearts. That, wow, for what this person has done for me. Oh, I don't have anything to give them back, but if there's a God, please bless this person. Those kind of prayers, they work like magic. And they normally work at the time when you are at your lowest. When life is giving you a beating, because we all go through life giving us beatings. those kind of secret things that people speak about us, they work. Right? They work. So this, on top of all your vision, all your big lofty aspirations and things that you are doing, take time to be a human being. I've seen people, even sometimes friends, family members, treat other people as complete garbage or trash. And it bleeds my heart, because I know that those people, they have little hearts and actually live in little minds. When you consistently berate other people, it means that you are very little. Strong and big people with big minds and big hearts, treat people well. And I want 2025 you to consider that you will be a real human being. You be a real human being. That's number one. Number two, things that you can do that would affect things outside of your control. Number two, to me, as a man of faith, is prayer. And if you are not a religious person or whatever, it's okay. I'm just making this statement because what I'm saying is the absolute truth, in the sense that in as much as you plan whatever you do, there are things that will come that are not in your control. For some people, yes, they will just leave faith. But I don't do faith. I don't leave things to faith. I will say a quick prayer. I will believe what I said and leave it at that. What prayer does, to me, there are three things. And I'm no pastor, I'm no preacher. I'm just a normal, everyday person you will find on the street. But this is what works for me. What prayer does basically is schedules good things to come to you that wouldn't have come to you that wouldn't have come to you because you did something. Or let me rephrase it, right? It schedules good things to come to your life that you couldn't have done on your own. I think that's better. Good things that come to you that you couldn't, you yourself, me, Isaac, I couldn't have done it. I couldn't have made it happen. Good things will happen that I couldn't, in a billion years, I couldn't have made it happen. I remember I got a job or I got a big break just because a friend of mine came to visit my home. Casual talk. We're talking about X, Y, Z. He just made a suggestion. Oh, there's this company that is, hiring, blah, 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 blah. Maybe you can try that. And just that statement changed my life. I couldn't have scheduled that. Prayer can schedule good things in your life that you personally, by yourself, wouldn't have been able to cause it to happen. That's number one. Number two, prayer can also block bad things from happening in your life that you wouldn't have had the power to stop. Okay, bad things can happen in your life that you may have the ability to stop. Maybe you have money to maybe hire somebody to do X, Y, or Z for you to stop maybe certain common bad things that happen to people. But certain bad things happen to people that their money cannot save them. Your strength cannot save you. Your intellect can't do nothing. That's number two. Then the final one, which that's really what excites me, is prayer can cause, let me put it this way, can give you strength to handle the most difficult or the baddest, if that's even a word, the most difficult and baddest things that finds its way into your life. It will give you the strength and the courage to be able to walk that walk or go through it. Many people, you and I know, there are people who, you watching me, you have survived that other people went through the same and did not survive. For one person, divorce gives them a complete wreckage in life. Their life comes to a screeching halt. Sometimes, unfortunately, they sink into this kind of depression and then their life, physical life, even ends. They lose their lives just because of a bad break. But there are people who have gone through very terrible divorce and that they got strength out of nowhere. And instead of crushing their spirit and breaking them to pieces, if they found a way to pack themselves together and they became a testament of strength. And their children looked at them as, wow, this is an example of strength. Mom is my pillar. Mom went through this, but look at what she has become out of that. She has even become stronger than before. She has become wiser than before. Or that has become better than before. So there are things that we go through that, yes, we will go through. Look, everybody will have a bad day, bad moment, bad time. It is guaranteed. But the key is that you must have some kind of strength built up somewhere. In the day of bad days or in the day of disaster, in the day of difficulty, you can latch onto that strength, that inner strength that has been built through prayer, so that you will be able to go through the challenge easily. And I hope and I sincerely desire that your 2025 will be an awesome year if you take these practical steps. So just to recap, don't focus on your big lofty goal. Focus on the key actionable steps that you can take to reach those goals. If you focus on those key actionable steps, you will find yourself landing at that ultimate goal. You could even overshoot it because you are committed. The fact that there are big, lofty resolutions or goodwill messages being put out there that we are even saying does not mean that they will happen. You have a part to play to make it happen. And the part to play to make it happen in this year is identify those key actionable steps and execute them to the letter. It doesn't have to be long, winded, difficult tasks. It just has to be simple, practical steps that you can take. And then after all is said and done, remember, there are things that would happen outside your control. And for me, the two things that I know work for me are being a good human being, being a human being to people, period. All people, giving value to people, making my life bring value to others. And particularly those who do not have the means or the wherewithal to be able to repay me back. My focus is to be a human being. Then finally, to also invest in prayer so that the things that I cannot make happen or I cannot block, those prayers will go ahead and make them happen and take care of those things for me. And should in case life happens, inevitable, difficult, crazy circumstances happen, which happens, that prayer will cause me to have the inner strength to be able to move on regardless of what happens. My friend, thank you. If you haven't subscribed, do well to subscribe. Have a great day and see you soon.